Alrighty, welcome everyone. So good to have you with us this evening or this morning if you're like Mark on the other side of the planet in the Netherlands, or watching this later on YouTube. So good to have you all with us. Today's a big day. It is V2 day. We have got version 2 ready to roll. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this right now, you already have version 2. So what you need to do if you want to get it is simply just go and remove version 1 from your TradingView chart and go and re-add it. And it'll automatically re-add as version 2. And so remove the TRENDFORCE oscillator, remove the MACD. They're brand new versions of those as well. You won't notice anything massive with those, but Dad has fully recoded them for PineScript version 6. All the nerdiness, but he has been working like crazy behind the scenes for the last few weeks, even while being on leave, to just really fine-tune his coding to take it all to the next level. So I know you guys are super fired up for that, so you've already got it, and you only probably got it about half an hour ago. So you can dive into that later. For now, Dad is with us, and he is going to drop some value as to all we need to know about version 2. Right before we launch into that, guys, we've got a live event happening this Sunday in Auckland. So let me pull up my notepad so I get nothing wrong. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. I've got some new things that I've plugged in, but based on that fire emoji, Jordash, I'm sure you can. So, Zeph, can you hear me? I can see your face. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes, thank you. All right, good stuff. Well, guys, this Sunday, the 19th of January, we're doing a live event just like we did the last one. So, invite only for our community right here. This isn't going far and wide on Facebook. If you're in our group chat, you know the thing. I know some people watch these later on YouTube that aren't quite in yet, so we'll deal with that later. We've got a live event coming for you in February. That is, we will start opening the doors then, if all keeps going to plan. But this Sunday night, 5:30 p.m. arrival, planning to sit down and eat Nando's again at 6 p.m., spend some time together having a meal, and then launching into some practical training with Dad on some of the very, very key elements of version 2. So, guys, I'll drop a spreadsheet or something in our group chat tomorrow so we can track numbers. Need everyone to RSVP, pay $30. We pretty much just broke even last time on that because we had some dessert and things as well. So it is going to be another amazing time together, face to face, having a meal and having some trading conversations and training. So without further ado, what does it say? Love the fireworks in the indicator. There we go. Marcus is already seeing it. Yeah, there's fireworks, man. There's emojis, there's rockets, there's boosts, there's all sorts. There's lightning bolts. And Dad's going to give us a full walkthrough of that this evening. So without further ado, Dan, I'm going to find you, pin you in the chat, and we'll rock and roll with this evening's training. Let's go.
Yep, here I am. Can you all see me loud and clear?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, cool. So what I may do is just go straight to share screen, Ty. So I'll stop my video so just my voice will come through. Okay, put in the request for share screen. So you'll have to just...
There we go. I just did it. Should be good.
Okay, so wait, then I've got to share on my side. I love technology. So let me try again. There we go. This is the one I want. Yep, this looks like it. There. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen loud and clear. So if I haven't wished you Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And welcome to TRENDFORCE version 2. So excited about this. I know it's going to be huge fun. I've made it more fun. And as Ty said, it's also upgraded. Even the oscillator and the MACD has all been upgraded to version 6. So this is awesome. I just want to say thanks to all of you for being on this journey with us. You know, originally we were only going to start about now. And so when we launched version 1, I was already working on version 2, because I knew some fine tuning needed to be done. And you guys have almost been part of my experiment. And I really do appreciate the feedback. You know, I really see this as our indicator. This is our community. We're pulling together like as a trading family. And your feedback has really been invaluable. So I really, really appreciate that. So I thought I'd be being the logical person I am. I want to look basically as, you know, what's gone, what's changed, what's been upgraded, and what's new. So those are kind of the main headings that I want to look at tonight as I work through this. So as I said, also, I like someone noticed some of the fireworks. That's really cool. I wanted to make this more fun, and someone's picked it up already. So, I mean, basically, the basic strategy has not changed. So that's like, obviously, the good news. You know, we're looking to trade with trend. All the trend zones are all basically the same. And so we're looking basically to trade with trend. As say, we'll mention some counter trend tonight and then talk about that more on Sunday night. But we're basically looking to trade with trend. All the trend zones have stayed the same. The candles are the same. You know, there's candle strength, intensity. So the big picture is there's no really big change. All right, we'll talk about the rules. The rules have been simplified. So firstly, what is gone? You'll notice that we've got rid of the outer range bands. Now, there were a number of reasons for that. We were very, I think we even said it when we launched Time. Now we're very 50-50 about having those bands. And, some feedback we got was that they really did add to a lot of noise. And so just with the bands gone immediately, it's much easier to read the chart. So we did it because it added a lot of noise. Also, brought some confusion, because it's not true all the time. Sometimes you had good signals, the signals weren't to the right. I mean, it did help a bit with range, but we're going to get around that with a simpler way. But basically, because it repaints, very few traders use repainting indicators. So repainting means that it adjusts with every new candle. And so historical data was very inaccurate. When you look back, it looked like every trade was a winner. And also, it caused the indicator to take a long time to load. Sometimes you'd load it and it would take a long time. It took a lot of processing power. And that it did actually cause the program to crash. We called it a timeout. So for those reasons, we decided to leave them out of version 2, and we've got a simple way to get around them. But we find it's much easier to read the chart. It looks much cleaner and much clearer. All right, so that's what we got rid of. But what has changed is there have been some little changes. Firstly, with our main 2 EMAs, before the 13 and the 21, we're changing colors. Each had 4 colors. So we've stripped the 13 back to just 2 colors. It's green with an uptrend, red with a downtrend. So we see that here. The 13 is green with an uptrend, then red with a downtrend. Then the 21, which is a real key part of the strategy. More and more we'll talk about the 21, that we've made white to make it much easier to read. And let me jump ahead of myself. The reason why we made it white quite a while back, you still had version 1, so yours was changing color, is that without the outer range bands, to work out trend and whether the market's trending, you simply look at the angle of the SMA 21. So now that it's white, it's very easy to read, especially on a higher trend. So I've got the 3-minute on the right. If it's heading up, then buys are safe. You never want to take a buy if the SMA is heading in the wrong direction. But we'll talk a little bit about that more maybe on Sunday, and when you go through the rules a little bit more. And so that also another little change is the trend zone table. You can see in the right-hand corner, this is telling us the 3, the 5, the 8, the 15, the 1 hour, 4 hour. I've made that vertical. And the reason for that is we all want to get into trading on our phones, through notifications. And on my phone, when the trend zone table was horizontal, it blocked out our trend zone alignment over here in the left-hand corner. So you can see those lights are either orange, green, or red. Now it's orange, which means we're not completely in the clear. So it's a bit easier now to read on the phone. And I've also added the 1 hour and the 4 hour. I think we only had the MACD. Let me just move that up. The MACD, we only had up to 50 minutes. I added the 1 hour and the 4 hour for completion. So those are some of the minor changes, not massive. Chart looks cleaner, easier to read without all the color on the 13 and 21, etc., etc. Then what is upgraded are the trend lines. So let me just magnify the 3-minute for a minute. The trend lines now I've upgraded, so they are much longer. Maybe that's not a good example to look at. Let's go back to the 1 minute, see what's happening here. So you will see they are much longer, and you can see that they'll also turn into channels. So let me just crunch this up a little bit. So if you look now at our support and resistance trend lines, they extend way longer than before. And we can see how here price hit the support trend line, dailied around and broke it, and then it dropped. And of course, here's our resistance trend line. Our price respected it there, respected it there, respected it there, and then finally respected it one more time, broke through the support, and price fell. And so the trend lines are way, way better, much improved, longer. They serve as support and resistance, far more clearer. So I'm very happy about that. Also, what else have I upgraded? I'm just going through my list here. Also, the buyer and seller momentum. These are, you should be familiar with our little diamonds, our red and green diamonds. I fine-tuned those so they do come on a little bit earlier, sometimes 1 candle earlier. And I think I put an example on the feed on the 3-minute, how incredibly accurate they are. So these, you can actually use these even for buy and sell signals. If you understand price action, you can sometimes get in trades early. I saw a wonderful example of price action Let me just see it. I'm now on, put myself on the spot here on the 3 minute. I don't know if actually, no, I won't go through that now. I'll get too distracted. But that's, so the diamonds, buy and seller momentum, that come in just a little bit earlier, which is useful. Also support and resistance. They're also a little bit more accurate too. You will only find one band of each, and they change color more readily now. So there's our resistance zone. You can see it's red indicating resistance. And you can see this is a great example now here. This was a support zone. So this originally would have been a green band. And the inner lines I've now made dotted. So you can see the inner line there is dotted, inner line is dotted, the outer lines are solid. The reason is because if price breakthrough, you may want to look back and think, was this originally a resistance zone or support zone? And what I've done now, if price breaks, so this is a great example of price action. Price came down to test this original support zone, which was green. There were buyers, so these zones mean they're buyers. This was green. Price pivoted off, went up, and then came back down, retested, then broke through, and then, of course, price fell. So if we have a look over here, we can see that there's now a lightning bolt. That's also a new little icon. And you'll always see a lightning bolt if price breaks through a previous zone, whether it's a resistance zone or support zone, you will get a lightning bolt to show you price is broken through and closed and is likely to move in the new direction. All right, so that's also, I thought, a great little addition. I've also upgraded the POC. So this is our yellow line. It's now a little bit more sensitive. So it will change a little bit more often. And as you can see how accurate it is over here, how price came up, resisted, it spent a lot of time at this point, and then basically broke up, came down, then retested it a number of times, then broke through and fell down. So you can also, in the settings, you can also extend it over a longer period. So I've got a look back period of 100 bars. So that means on a 1 minute, that's looking at 100 minutes information. If I change that to 200, you can see now the position of that bar is going to change, and it's now going to take a lot more data in. So if you're looking over a longer period, that's over 200 bars, which is 200 minutes. We can see again, you can see how accurate it is, even how it respected it there, and there's a lot of activity there. But the default is 100. I found the 100 works well, but you can even make it short if you wish. So you can then experiment around and change the POC, and it's now even more dynamic. You can see it's just moved now. That's interesting. All right, so that's the POC, and this is what I love. I've been obviously busy, with coding and working out. I've also upgraded our buy and sell signals. So originally, the color of our buy signal was dark green and dark green. But what I've done, so listen carefully for this, because this works really well. If it's a stronger signal, the color will change. So obviously there was range in the afternoon, but you can see now that's the normal color, dark green. This is a bright green buy signal. That means the signal is very strong and price is likely to move higher. So we can see price went up, but this is still in rangy conditions, went up 22 pips there. And here again, there was another buy signal, bright green. Although we're still in the afternoon session, it's very rangy. Still, that gives you a good indication. So if you see a bright green buy signal or a bright red signal, it means it's a stronger signal and price is likely to move. Now remember, everything is, you can edit everything. So if you look under style and we go down to our buy and sell signal, we can see those 4 signals here. I mean, if you wanted, you could change the stronger buy signal to blue. And you can see on my screen now, that is now changed to blue. So I've just used bright colors, but everything is editable to your artistic preferences. So I'll just change it back to the original, to that bright green color. That's very useful. I changed it. It was one Saturday morning. There was a sell signal that I missed, and it dropped about 150 pips. And when I looked back and retested and worked around it, I realized that if it had been bright red, I definitely would have taken that trade. It would have caught my eye. And that's kind of how I've developed this indicator. When I've missed good trades, I've thought, is there a way that I could have picked up and got that trade? And so, especially on higher time frames, if you go to, let me just take a leap of faith. Let's just look at go back over. This is the 9 minutes. So let's just see if we can pick up any, looking back over the 9 minutes. Oh, here's a good example. So this is the 9 minutes, sorry, my 8 minutes. And we can see here, this was, when was this? This was Saturday at 2:24. We got a sell signal that was bright. And that candle, I mean, it may have opened there, and that basically dropped. This is the Dow, dropped 585 pips from that bright red signal. So keep an eye out for those signals when they go to bright colors. Now remember, everything is probabilities. Nothing, if there was one indicator, one icon that could guarantee you money, I would have come up with it. All it means is there's a higher probability that that trade is going to move more. All right, so that is the buy and sell signals. All right, so what's new most importantly, are the counter trend signals. So here's a great example of a counter trend signal. Let me just get my 3 minute. We also got one off. So we've added counter trend signals to the indicator. Now remember, there's no magic bullet. Now, if you look on yours, if you've loaded it already, they're probably not showing because they're more risky. I've set the default to off. So if you go under inputs, you've basically got to turn them on for them to appear on your chart. So if we go back to counter trend, if you look at your inputs, you'll see counter trend signals I've got there. These trades carry a higher risk. All right, so you actually got to turn them on. So if you look at my screen, no counter trend signals. If I click on now, then give the indicator time, then boom, there they flash. Counter trend, counter trend, counter trend. And so I'm going to talk a lot about counter trend signals on Saturday, but this was a great signal here. I mean, we're not even in high volume. That candle would have opened over there, and let's see how much. My measurement always doesn't work. That counter signal, counter trend drop 50 pips. That would be if it stayed in, of course, but there's the potential of counter trend. All right, so you'll obviously get them for both buys and sells. So CT counter trend is for a sell, and you'll see CT in green for a buy. But there's a lot I need to talk about that, because if you took every single counter trend, you're probably going to lose money. So I want to give a lot of teaching on the live event on Sunday night about how the counter trend signals work. All right, so that's counter trend. Talk about more about that on Sunday night. Then also, I've also got a little reverse signals. The default is also off. So let me just, I think mine have been turned on already, but if you look on your under inputs and you scroll down, let me just find where it's hiding. Okay, reverse signal. You've got to click that on. And then that tells you higher risk, set a clear target. All right, so I've tried to capture. So the reverse signal also has risk attached. You can see now it's appeared on the chart. Look where that appeared. So the reverse signal, I've tried to capture trades that reverse right at the top, or if there's one, or right at the bottom. Here's a great example. See, the Lord's been good to me tonight. Can you see, here's a reverse signal right at the bottom of that trade. There's an R for reverse. And if you enter there, you could have written it all the way up. And here, so that is what I would call a buy reversal signal. And here is a sell reversal signal right at the top. So those will pop up, but not everyone's a winner. So if you scroll back, here's one, you would have got pips over there for that one. There's another reverse signal there. A lot of pips would be there. That one would have got you some, but I've got to also go through the rules for that. Here's a good example. There's a reverse signal. This was just after lunch today. They would have opened way down there. There's a reverse signal. They went up, over 50 pips, that one. So that's useful to have. So the default is off. You need to turn those reverse signals on. So hopefully you're liking what you've seen. I'm making this far more fun. Then what else have I got here? So then trend boost. I've just turned it off for now. Those were the fireworks. So right at the bottom, I've got trend boost and rocket signals. So I'm going to turn those on and show you how useful they can be. So it'll take a second to calculate. And I turn them off on the 3 minute. I'm just going to pop them on the 3 minute. There we go. And they can be very useful. So these, again, the key for these, I'll emphasize this again on Sundays, when you see these signals, best to use them always with trend. So when you see a rocket, price is likely to rocket up. And likewise with the boost signals, so the rocket signals actually are a rocket, and the boost are when you get this explosion. So you can see they're pretty accurate. So here we go. Here's a reversal. You've got a rocket at the top. Right at the top, price drops. But they're not 100% best used with trends. So I'll talk more when I got time. But here you can see price dropped way down from this last signal. There's a rocket at 8:15 on the 1 minute. There's a rocket under this candle. That would have opened way down there. And sure enough, prices rocketed up 40 pips from the rocket signal. So a lot of these would be counter trend signals. So they do carry risk, but they do work really well. So I've done a lot of research here. So yeah, you can see right at the top of this move, not only was there a reversal signal, or there was a rocket too. And I was going to say this at the end, whenever you see combinations of signals, price is likely to move with a far greater probability. So when you see a rocket and a reverse, boom, you can see price dropped all the way from this candle right at the top. Price dropped 50 pips, and then there was a rocket there, it rocketed up again, and that was another 40 pips there. So these signals appear everywhere. And so always look for combinations. Now, especially when you're looking at higher time frames. So let's look at this counter trend signal. If you're looking at the 1 minute, besides the fact you've already got a rocket and a reversal, meaning there's a strong chance that price is going to move down, we got a counter trend signal. So counter trend signals can be risky, but we can see at the same time that we got a counter trend signal. What happened on the 3 minute? And we had a rocket appearing on the same candle. So counter trend, let's see when that rocket plotted. That rocket plotted to a fraction before the counter trend signal. But if you had waited, a counter trend signal on the 1 minute, you got a rocket. But when you get two rockets, these don't appear often. When you get two rockets on higher time frames, I tell you, that trade was guaranteed to move down. All right, so look for combinations. If we just look at the 3 minute chart, let's just look back and see. Let's just go back and see if we can pick up some good combinations. So again, you want to use them with trend. If you missed that buy, there's a trend boost, and that candle would have opened down there, trend boost, and price moved up 80 pips. So that's counter trend. Here we got a trend boost that would have opened down there. I mean, if you just, that candle, there's a trend boost with trend, price moved up 69 pips. And so you can see where they appear. Okay, here, this is counter trend, but even then that candle would have closed there. That dropped 75 pips. Now, this is what you want to look for, especially on high time frames. Okay, this was around the open, so you obviously going to have a lot of movement there, but there we've got a combination. We've got trend boost, and we've got a bright green buy signal. Price is always going to move when that happens. So I mean, with a lot of these new things, you need to just look back and have a look at where they appear, and then have a look at how many pips they are. But you'll find they're pretty useful. But again, they stick with trend, always safer trading with trend. Okay, I also want to look to see if there were any reverse signals here. Looking back on the 3 minute, let's just see if they look for any R's. They don't appear often, but when they do appear, they're normally pretty accurate. So I'm just looking to see if we can see any R's for reversal buys or sells. I can't see any, but look, they will appear from time to time. Also, with the trend boost and the rockets, when they appear at the bottom of a move, then there's often a clear chance it's going to reverse and go the other way. So I mean, I said to Ty, you can almost use these boosts as buy and sell signals. I mean, they're not, nothing's 100% accurate. Okay, here's a good combo. Look at this signal here. This was at 2:30 the other day. You've got a bright green sell signal, and you've got a rocket on the same chart. And we can see that, I mean, that would have opened way up there, and that dropped 333 pips after that combined signal. So, I mean, I'm pretty confident that these work. Again, this is a re-entry. That rocket appeared, price pullback, and you got a rocket, and the price sure enough rocketed down probably about at least 400 pips there. So look, have a look, and just back test, have a look at when they appear. But as I say, they are always better with trends. I think I looked at that example if that was around the open. So we're on the 1 minute here. What else did I want to say? Yeah, with trend. Then also with entry rules. So let me just end. I've been talking for about half an hour. I don't know if, and then maybe I don't know if there are questions time we can look at. But this was just to introduce the changes tonight. So with entry rules, so what we want to do is just go through. We now are cutting our rules back. So we used to have 10, and we called them, basically the acronym was TOS for trend zone, then the outer range bands, space and signal. And so we're just making one change. We're going to change TOS to TAS. So think of TASS, and we will drop these notes, will come into the feed in the next day. I'll send them off to Ty. So we still are looking at T for trend zone. All right, so T is for trend zone. And so if we just add a look at this bar signal here, and now we're just looking at 2 points. If the current, you get one for current, so the current time zone, and then one for one higher. And let me just tee up the, I've got the 8 minute 2 here. And so if we look at this, if we just went through this signal here, I mean, already this is a strong signal. We've got bright green. I mean, there are 2 reasons why this is a strong signal. Number one, we have a bright green bar signal. Number 2, can we see prices sitting right on this trend zone, which is the 55, or that would be the equivalent to the 3 minute, and that is already bright green. And one candle, in 2 candles in, you also got a trend boost, which means price is going to move. So if we looked here, price is just crossing over here. So that's almost one. The MACD is correct. If you look at the 3 minute, price hasn't quite crossed over. Let's have a look. Are we okay on the main indicator down here? Price hasn't quite crossed over. So I would give, this would be a 1 out of 2 for me. But remember, the key is higher time frames, bully lower time frames. And there's a reason why I always like to have a look at 3 times higher. So on the 8 minute, if I saw that bar signal, I've got my 8 minute open, as you can see it. Can you see how strong the trend zone is on the 8 minute? If you look at that equivalent candle, we are very bullish there and very bullish there. So that would be a 1 out of 2. Ideally, 2 out of 2 would be better. But that to me would be low risk. Getting a bright green signal, bright green 55, plus the high time frame is fully bullish. We get 1 out of 2. Then instead of O for the outer range bands, we now get A for angle. So we have a look at what the angle is on a high time frame. Can you see here that the SMA 21, this is the angle we're looking at. This is completely heading up. If it was in the other direction, you know, there obviously would be problems. We wouldn't take it. So we want to be looking at a higher time frame at the angle. So even when I use previous strategies, I always told Ty, I would always look at a time zone 3 times higher and also look at the angle. Is this pointing up or is it pointing down? Sideways is range, but you can see we've got a wonderful angle here. Let's see what else makes us a good trade. Also good, what also makes us a strong signal, if we look, I say one of the magic bullets on this indicator is that if you're on the 1 minute, is the 3 minute oscillator. Can you see we've got a bright green bar? The main trend bar is bright green. It's completely green, pretty safe. And if you look at the 9 minute, 8 minute, also bright green. So that just changed on that candle. All right, so we got one for the trend zone. We got 1 for the angle, so we got 2 out of 5. Then S is space. Is there space to move? Well, there was space clearly here. There was definitely space for movement up. And then for the signal, I want to say this, we're making a slight change that you obviously, the bar, you don't get 1 for the bar signal. You don't take a trade unless you've got some sort of signal, but is there a supportive signal? It either can be the biomomentum, or it can be in the oscillator reverse re-enter. But any other signal now, you could include a rocket, you could also include a boost. As long as you have 1 other signal, you get another point. So this would be a 4 out of 5. The only reason why we didn't get 5 out of 5 is that we just quite weren't aligned on the signal with the trading trend zone. It was still hadn't quite crossed over, but the fact that the 13 was already green, we can see we are in an uptrend. So it would have been a good signal, 4 out of 5. All right, then also I didn't mention much, the MACD is unchanged. I've just smoothed things out slightly with the oscillator, by the way. So I've taken out the range, so things are pretty smooth. You can see the green circles have stayed green the whole way, indicating that it's quite a strong uptrend. All right, so I think I'm just looking, I made some notes here. I just want to check that I've covered everything. I think that is all. So the key thing is look for combinations. So whenever you have two, like there were two, a rocket and a reverse signal, whenever you have two signals for entry, confirmation, like here you got a rocket and you got a reverse, high probability that was going to move up. And in fact, we also got the TRENDFORCE oscillator green, plus you got triangle up, reverse enter. So there was another strong signal back there. So look for combinations. So, I mean, play around with this. At our live, when we do live analysis on Thursday mornings, obviously you'll get to know it more. And then I'm going to spend a lot of time looking like there's a good counter trend signal. That was 3 o'clock, 4 minutes past 3 this afternoon, counter trend. And I mean, that dropped quite a bit. That went down, 30 odd pips. So, I mean, I'm happy with how version 2's come out. I think we're going to make a lot more pips, less noise, a few extra bells and whistles. But I think we're going to find it a lot of fun and hopefully get a lot more pips. So, Ty, I think that's probably me gone through the changes.
Great stuff.
So maybe there's some questions we can
talk about. A couple of questions, not too many, but I'll ramble through them. So first one was about the table. I think Vinan said the MACD and trend zone table bars now positioned to the right hand side. They squeezed or overlap on his screen. Is it possible to change them? I haven't looked yet.
Are these, the MACD and the trend zone are squeezed together?
I guess it might be a different type of device.
Okay.
Maybe it's not an iPhone.
Maybe we can get some more feedback on that. I mean, it's pretty easy to change. What I could do, potentially, I could add in an option that you can move it to the top right.
Okay, he's saying laptop screen, they overlap.
Sorry?
That would have to be pretty squashed for them to be...
Yeah, that shouldn't. I mean, because I've got that set to middle. In the PineScript language, I've got it set to middle right. So they shouldn't overlap. What instrument is it?
Then send me a screenshot or send it straight to Dad, and we'll see what we can configure. Yeah. But there's ways we can fix anything.
Yeah, you can fix that. I mean, I can give the option that you can move it anywhere on the screen.
Yeah,
it'll take a while to look up, but I can do it.
All right. Next question. Danny, great question. Oh, good to see you, bro. Hope Ruler is doing well. Can we use V2 for swing trading, and does it work better on any particular indice or commodity? I know you can answer that question beautifully.
Oh, no, that works. I mean, let's look at swing trading, man. This is awesome. So
I'll answer the part about indices or commodities. I would say that it doesn't matter what you're looking at. It's just price action. So you can use it on absolutely anything, but the high time frame conversation, let's let Dad demo.
Well, I mean, let's just go to the 4 hour. Let's just have a look here. Let's jump in. Can you see how quickly it loads now? So let's have a look. This is the 4 hour. And let me just, for the 4 hour, we can see here, this is the upgrade, 4 hour. Look here. Let me just check. I don't think, let me just quickly check that I turned the boost signals on here. I hadn't turned them on. So have a look at the 4 hour. So I mean, here's a great example. This is now the 4 hour. And we can see here we got, I mean, some counter trend signals on the 4 hour. So if you were brave enough to take a swing trade on a counter trend, there was a counter trend that dropped 2,200 pips. And we can see this works very well. So here we got, look at this. Here's a great signal. 22nd of November. This is the 4 hour on the US 30. You've got a bright green buy signal. Plus, you've got a trend boost signal. So, I mean, this works even better, I think, than for swing trading. Gives you more confidence. That would have opened somewhere there, and that went up 1,250 pips. You can see it broke. Can you see that lightning bolt? There would have been a resistance zone across there, and as price closed and broke above, that's what's produced that But if you look back, here's the buy signal. You got a boost over there. So even if you're nervous about entering, I mean, that went up 2,000 pips. So if you look, this is just looking for swing trading. I mean, it works really well. So there's a boost, and look, price moved up. There's a counter trend. You would have got some pips there. So just looking back quickly. Oh, here's a good example. Look at this. There, this is now going quite far back to August, but this is the 4 hour. You've got a rocket and a reversal, and look how price dropped there on for a swing trade reversal. That dropped 2,300 pips. So, I mean, basically, it will work. The higher the time frame, the more accurate it becomes. So, it's all good for swing trading. So again, try to look for combinations. Like I said, that one, that was bright green. Where was that? No, here's a great combination. These are on all time frames. Look to see a trend boosts, you know, a bright buy or sell. Those things always have pips. So I'll just take it back to my default. That's normally set to 8 minutes.
Cool.
So
One, I answered it, but just for the sake of having Q&A on the video, when checking the angle on high time frames, you're referring to the 21, right? Not the 13.
Yes, you're referring to the 21.
The white. So the white moving
white
average is
line,
the 21.
That's why it's white.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'm
Just
trying to
to
see if
have
I
that
can
question.
find an example. I haven't looked for an example. I'm trying to find a good example. I'd have to go back and look, but there would be good reasons why. Let me just see if here's an example. What time was this? That was 13:19. I'm trying to find what time of the day. Was this? I may have gone back too far away. Where's 13:19? If you just go back, here we go. Here's a good example, 13. So if you look at this buy signal here, I mean, it is rangy, but it's definitely, there's a buy signal. You can see here, this is definitely, it's come down, it's flat, rangy. There wouldn't be a signal to take. And even on the 1 minute, I mean, that's a no-no. Look at the angle on the 1 minute, that is headed down. So I've learned price always mimics the angle of the white 21 EMA. So it's an SMA. So that is why we've made that part of the rule. So we exchange that for the bands, cleans up the chart, and
So much cleaner. So much cleaner, and it lets you more into the reasoning why to stay out or why to get in with those angles. So yeah. If you're trading on the one, the angle of the 21 on the 3 minute is, you just never want to go against it. If you just made that one of your rules, if you're trading on the one and you don't go against the angle of the 21 on the 3 minute, that'll keep you out of trouble. Let's see, another question. I think Warren's just saying, thanks, excellent work. Are we trading on Thursday morning? Yes, sir.
Yes,
so
5 o'clock.
Yeah. This Thursday morning, we are live back into it. I have got to reset my brain because I've been staying up late with my wife, hanging out, and getting back into these early mornings is going to get real. But yes, this Thursday morning, we are on, team. And then obviously this Sunday night, we're live. So there was a question. Mo's got a question about, we said firstly, the trading panel is open at the bottom and the MACD and trend zone is very close together. Well, we can fiddle with that and see what we can put in the ability there to move things left or right. So we can add that and I can update things because then you can choose where they go. I think Vinay's trying to put a picture. Oh yeah, he's put a picture in the chat there, which you might be able to see. So they're definitely overlapping in his
I
picture.
haven't got the chat now, but my screen is.
No, that's cool. Well, we'll just put some code in there to be able to, so you can manually decide on it left or right hand side, and then at least they're not going to ever clash vertically, which will create some space. One more question from Mo was, when taking reversal and CT trades, are we still doing 15 stop loss and 30 TP? Dad, I'll let you answer it.
Yeah. So I'll talk about that on Sunday night. So you're not going to get a set stop loss and a take profit lines because it's a bit more, we've got to be a bit more flexible and use more of a trailing stop loss. But basically for counter trend trades, you're going to look at maybe like this one, I would look at the previous high. So your stop loss would be probably up. I mean, let me just make my screen a bit bigger here. You'd want to be safe and take the previous high when you're entering pretty close. So if it came later, you probably look at 15 to 20 pips, but I'm going to talk more about that on Sunday night, where to put your stop loss. I mean, basically, what you have, your stop loss will need to be above the 55 as a minimum, and that will determine whether you take a counter trend trade or not. I'll say I'm getting ahead of myself, but if price races away from the 55, you're going to have a big stop loss, because very often it's going to come and retest. And here's a good example. You got a signal there, and then you can see how price pulled back and retested the 55. So very often with counter trend trades, price will want to come back and retest the 55. And so you have to make sure that your stop loss is safely above the 55. We can see here on the 3-minute, price came down and retested the 55 quite strongly. So you would need to, your stop loss would need to be safely above the 55. But we'll talk more about that on Sunday night.
Cool. Well, Aaron, are we able to reduce the size of the rocket and explosions? Good question. I don't know. Size, Dad, of the emojis?
Yes, you actually, I could. It's a bit of work, but it is possible. Yes, I can.
Okay, there we go.
I'll work on
I'm
that.
assuming people probably want them smaller in case they're overlapping. The only time I've found them overlapping is with those reversals, the R's. But so you can see it there in the middle of the screen, but it's rare.
Yeah, what I will do is I will change this order around. I'm just going to make notes here. This is great feedback. So
like I said, or the opacity, that's a question. I don't know about changing opacity on signals, but yeah, that's possible.
You can't change opacity of those are characters, so you can't, but the size you can.
Okay, there we go, guys. You're all, we're doing this together.
So I'm just going to make some notes here. So I'm just going to make chart sizes and table positions. Okay.
And then Danny's got a question. Do sell signals work as reversal signals? I think, Dad, you want to explain the difference between them? Like a counter trend or reversal, like how you would define those, for instance.
Okay, so a reversal will always come right. So this is like a sell reversal. Reversals will come right at the top. So we're trying to pick up, to get maximum pips, we're trying to pick up where price is reversing and moving the other way. So, I mean, there is no way to be 100% accurate, but there are, more often than not, they will be accurate based on probabilities. So reversal is you're trying to get the peak, whereas a counter trend, price has already reversed and is picking up momentum in the other way. So this is an example where they're not normally so close together. There's often a bit of more space between. So counter trend, price has reversed and is picking up momentum to move the other way. So counter trend signals tend to come later. So if you look back, they're not normally so close together. Don't know if that answered the question.
I think so. I guess counter trends are, you're never going to find an R in the middle of a move as well. I mean, I might have missed you saying that.
Yeah, in unusual, one has appeared once, but it's highly unusual. I saw one today somewhere, but generally you can see there's R at the bottom. There's a reversal. So that was right at the bottom of the move. Sometimes if I look back, there may, but it's unlikely. There R is right almost at the bottom of that move. In range, of course, nothing works. There R is almost at the top of that move. But in range, nothing works. So remember, this indicator will look very busy when you're in range, because things will pop up all the time the way it's calculated.
Okay, one from Warren I'll answer in a second. Danny's got a follow-up just with, can we get notifications on the phone with the good combinations of buy plus rocket or other fireworks? I don't know about that one. That might be tricky.
Okay, well, that's a good, yes. I have added rockets to the notifications.
But
so if you right click now and you go add alerts, and so if you basically got to go under condition, you got to choose the TRENDFORCE indicator. You go to TFI, and now if you click under bar signal, it's got a rocket up and rocket down. Because those are good. I've added those now to my notifications. They're good to have.
Yeah. So to answer the question though, the combination, I don't know if we can get an alert for a combination because they might not pop off on the exact same moment.
Okay, well, here's some of my trade secrets, is that signal is a combination of the boost as well and other calculations. So that That's why if you're going to add another alert, you only need to add the rocket up and rocket down.
All right. It was
So,
quite funny. It was at my wife's birthday on Friday night, and Dad leans over with his phone and shows me notification on his phone. And what did it say? It was like rocket by something. I don't know what it was labeled, but it was hilarious. And I'm looking at emojis and rockets and alerts, and I'm thinking this is pretty next level. So some of this is fresh, guys, absolute fresh. There we go. Etienne says combinations are only possible using a strategy, not an indicator. So yeah, we got a lot of homework to do to get to that place, just because there's so many conditions for some of these signals to turn an indicator into a strategy in terms of what TradingView calls a strategy. But we're moving in the right direction. So Warren had one more for us about the TZA, the small colored circle.
yep.
Are we able to place this beside the vertical trend zone table? I find the TZA circle not too easy to note due to size and possible color. How about symbols or emojis?
I mean, I could make it bigger. I could make that whole thing bigger so it's more visible. I was
Yeah.
just thinking for the phone. The main reason I put that was so when you're on a phone, you'll be able to work out the zones very quickly, trading on the phone.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So that's editable. One more. Mark said a good one. How to differentiate between rocket up and rocket down? It's just going to be position on the candle, right?
Yeah, position. Yeah. So rocket up will be below a bullish candle. Rocket down will be above a bearish candle. So
There
you
we
won't
go.
often find them in range. They will always be underneath going up and above going down. You can see you'll never find, for example, a rocket above a bullish candle. For example, where that lightning bolt is, because price broke through a resistance zone, you'll never find a rocket above a bullish candle.
Cool, cool.
Look, I'm open to
All
feedback. I
right.
can change that rocket. I just thought it was pretty cool for rocket up and rocket down. It's kind of my sense of humor.
We can mess around and start fooling around with these, and this is the best part, guys, is you all get to give feedback and we get to customize this whole thing together. Fast forward a few weeks, months, and years from now, and you get to see the edits that you might have contributed, which is so fun. So, Dad, thank you so much. That
Okay.
does not at all come close to summarizing how grateful we all are for this. And yeah, just absolutely fired up for our live event on Sunday night. Looks like maybe another couple more questions. Let me just add myself to the screen here so I can talk to you guys. Let me remove that and
I can
add
look at the questions too
myself.
now.
Oh, now you can see the questions.
Yeah.
Can we turn the rocket emoji around by 90 degrees to make a rocket heading for Earth? I don't know. That's tricky.
Yeah, no,
That's
you
next
can't
level.
change those, unfortunately. They are like set.
Okay, that's that. Close out with rocket. I need to find that song, Zeph. Could we make the down rocket? Yeah, there. That's the problem with the emojis, guys. It's a fixed thing. Etienne
Yeah.
got picture. Sorry, I'm just having a laugh at the chat watching this video. I'm sorry you can't see it.
I mean, I
But
could make it a circle when
love
it's
the little
useful.
bullseye target on TP3. Yes, TP3 has got a bullseye. So guys, if you're hitting TP3s, drop bullseyes in the group chat. That's a fun thing to go for. Weird that mine looks like 1980s 16-bit style. Etienne, I don't know how you've got that. You've got a legitimate old school rocket emoji on your screen. Anyway, who would have thought? Guys, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to screen share because I know some of you might already be asking how to get version 2. Some of you might not have got it yet. I'll just see if I can talk you through it because then visually I'm going to be able to answer questions that I get asked during the week. So let me share my screen. There we go. Share. And I want that one. I want that one. Okay, there we go. So there it is over there. So I'm going to, best way to do this is if you click on indicators, what's going to happen is you're going to have an invite only tab. So you probably don't have any personal ones or whatever potentially, but under invite only, you will see it in here, TRENDFORCE indicator V2. And you'll have the MACD and oscillator. This is my suggestion. Go and delete all three and click all three again and add them to your chart, because when you add it to your chart from the invite section, invite only, that will turn V1 into V2. Trust me, Dad and I were pulling our hair about a little bit earlier trying to make sure it actually loaded, but that's it. So once you click it, I mean, if I delete it and if I delete it, just, for the sake of this video being very descriptional from the start, indicators, invite only, TRENDFORCE indicator, click. It's going to load over there right now, and then TRENDFORCE MACD, click, TRENDFORCE oscillator, click. It's all there. So that's default, guys. So I squash mine, make it a bit smaller. You can customize these things as well. I like to, Usually put that one maybe just above. Again, you can customize all of this. So that does that. Then remember, you got to click on the settings of V2. So if you come up here and click the settings tab, then in under inputs, I'm probably gonna get this wrong. Where are we? It will by default reversal signal over here. You need to click that on manually. So this is a cool little backstop for us if we've got brand new people that maybe shouldn't be having reversal and counter trend signals out the gate. You need to click them on. And then lower down, you're going to see their counter trend signals, bang. So you've got to click those on manually once you add it. So this will hopefully eliminate all the messages of I can't find the counter trend signals or the R's. They don't exist on my chart. That's why. So you can mess around with those signals, guys. You can change your colors, your styles, your everythings. You can change the opacity on things. So for instance, you know, for some of you, maybe on your pivots, this is things I've done in the past. I haven't done them during this season of all being on the same page, but I'd like to lower almost all of my pivots to 50% just to make them a little less. You'll be amazed at how much less busy your chart becomes when you start to lower the opacity on some things. So not everything's as bold and beautiful in your face. What else? You can even moving averages. You can make them thinner if you want them thinner. They're thicker because they represent zones as you're looking up in time frames, things like that. But yeah, other little course is that things are going to look different on Heikin Ashi versus normal. So Dad has designed this whole puppy on Heikin Ashi candles, and so you'll even see some random buy signals in here on gold, for instance, right now on Tuesday night. Those buy signals, I can tell you, they're bad ones, obviously. They don't exist on Heikin Ashi. So watch this area right here. I'll flick back to Heikin Ashi. See, buy signals are gone. So you're weeding out some noise by doing that. So my usual setup would be 1 minute chart, normally in the middle like Dad, sometimes on the far right on Heikin Ashi or normal, depending. I normally cycle between them. Then I have a 3 minute and then either a 5 or an 8, and I have all three in a line so I can see them all. And yeah, you can obviously customize it however you want to do it. But yeah, mess around, adjust things. You know, if you're swing trading, if you're doing things like Danny just asked, you're going to like a daily or a 4 hour, then you know your pivots are going to look like they exploded. So the thing to do with those then is go to settings and just turn them off. So where are we? There was a quicker way to do this. It might be here. Dad's going to say something. There we go, daily. So you can go and click off daily, weekly, monthly, and maybe just have the quarterlies if you're doing some crazy swings. Obviously, you're going to lose some lines you might want. So there I've just clicked the monthlies back on, but there I've clicked them off. And it just creates a little bit less noise if you're going for swings. You know what I mean? If you want to zoom out of the chart, maybe just turn them all off, turn them back on, etc. It depends on what you are doing with it. But that will be that. Let me unshare my screen. I can't see any questions currently, guys, because my settings are over there. Stop share. Let's see whatever else came on. I've managed to successfully load V2 on one of my charts. There we go. Shot Wayne. I have 4 different charts open for my 4 different instruments, but am only offered V1. You might just have to delete, just do what I just did. I don't know when you posted that in the chat. So yeah, if you remove it, re-add it, you should get V2. The V1 doesn't exist anymore, I'll put it that way. I have updated the shareable indicator to the code of V2. So the V1 code is not actually in there anymore. If you've got it still, you've probably only got it until you refresh it or delete it or re-add it. So that's that. Otherwise, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock. We'll leave it at that. Just remember, live event this Sunday night if you're in Auckland. I can't wait to see you all and have some food again and hang out. And I know a lot of you are overseas or can't make it. Our hearts are with you. My goal is, again, to edit all the footage on Monday night and then upload it so that Tuesday night next week will be the recording of the live event on the Sunday night. But guys, if you're within a few hours drive, I'd love to see you in person. I will create that document so everyone can SVP so we can get the payments and the food ordered, so there's actually food there for you when you arrive. And we will see you all on Sunday night in person, but on Thursday morning, trading live at 5 a.m. We'll drop that Zoom link in the chat bright and early. Otherwise, thanks again everyone for being here. Love you loads. See you in the chat. Have an amazing rest of your evening. Trade safe, and we'll see you soon. Good night, everyone.